So like I'm always talking about you gotta be consistent, you gotta be consistent. But like what's gonna make people consistent is when they're able to visualize what this opportunity can really do for them, like the freedom it can create in their life. I think a lot of times people come in and they're like, okay, yeah, it's all about being consistent with invites and follow-ups, but they don't really understand like what they're gonna get out of it. They can't like visualize what their life would be like if they stick with that consistency for 2, 3, 4 years. So that's like where we come in as leaders, is helping people understand what's going to happen if they do become consistent with those things, like what their life is going to look like. And the more that they connect with us, the more they get on these Zoom calls, the more they get on the national wake up calls and listen to successful coaches, the more they get to events and listen to successful coaches and talk to successful coaches, the more it becomes real for them. And then being consistent is like not even a struggle anymore. They like actually want to do those things. And once they get that visualization. So that's my big takeaway from this. And it was something that I kind of saw earlier today.
Another thing I liked was you saying, I think it was number 5, a leader owns it. You are going to build this. No one else is going to do it for you. You need to be in charge and basically take charge of your own business. Just being in the business for like 4 years now, I think for the first 2 years, I was thinking like just watching other coaches do it and thinking, oh, well, having like a little pity party for myself. Like, you know, I like it doesn't, but it really does. It starts with you. You're the one that starts to, you know, envision your life, like you were saying, Pat, like, and really digging down. And I think establishing your why, Pat and I were both saying that back in January 2013 is when we sat down and we were like, all right, like what could our life be like if we had this opportunity? So I think that's the first thing, is it starts and ends with you.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. It is like really hard to help people like visualize what this can do for them. I mean, because everybody wants different things out of it, you know. So that's why it's so cool. You can kind of leverage the efforts of a team. Like if I have a coach that, you know, has like a family and they just want to be able to have more time with their family, then I want them to be able to connect with the other mothers on the team, because that's, you know, they're gonna be able to show them that they can do it. Like Anny, you're a huge inspiration for a lot of mothers out there. So that's awesome for us to be able to make sure we get our new coaches on calls like this so they can hear you talk about that stuff. So, I mean, we got like 500 or 600 coaches on the team, and we're only getting like 30 a week on this call, and they're really missing out on the visualization part of it. You know, we can tell them to be consistent until they're blue in the face, but if they're not getting on the national call or getting on these team calls, then they're not going to know what they're missing, so they're not going to be consistent. So we got to get them plugged into this stuff.